We're all looking at the same thing. Thank you for joining us for another perspective from the Sag Nasty If Anybody Asks Me podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment. For more videos, please subscribe to the channel. Or don't. Just sit back, say nothing, do nothing, and watch as we bare our souls to you. We got it from here. Sag Nasty.
We go up to Bob Davies' suite, we come in and Forster just owned the entire conversation. Trying to tell Bob Davies how to run the option and, all this and that. And we're just going, oh man. And finally.
I didn't come into this podcast with an agenda, but as you were talking, it really formed as like, oh, I really want to know what separates this guy from me or anyone else, even Rodgers, because there's even separation there. You're standing alone, and I want to know why. It's not like you're higher than anyone or lower, but you're in this alone space, I think it's really cool. I'm obsessed with it.
I appreciate that, and I think there's just it's such an amalgamation of so many things that go into it, right? And with the friends that I had, and
because from my perspective, I looked at Purdue as like, what a dumb choice, because it's not cool. We like Michigan State, and I didn't like Michigan, of course. I like State, and I went to State with you for the recruiting trip. So I was like, oh, go there. We saw Plaxico Burress, and it's like, oh, this is so cool. Meet Saban. And you didn't go to the coolest place. And I think that would be the worst choice for you to ever go to is Michigan State.
Cedric Irving, I think, might have been there at the time.
Yeah. And, but based on the environment and stuff, State was not a good choice for you.
Well, so I liked State a lot when Nick Saban was there. Yeah. Because he was the only coach. When I went on all my visits, we talk about Barry Alvarez at Wisconsin, Joe Tiller at Purdue, Lloyd Carr at Michigan, Bob Davies at Notre Dame. Let's see, Cam Cameron at Indiana. Who else? Anyways, it was always the head coach was the offense, right? And you're basically the defense's head coach was the defensive coordinator. And I went down to Michigan State camp, and me and my dad are sitting here looking at Nick Saban not only coaching the defense but coaching defensive backs. And I was
wow! At Purdue, it's not like that.
Well, at any university, the head coach.
That was a very special thing. Okay. Wow.
And I'm going, because I knew, so like Notre Dame quarterback, Indiana quarterback, Nebraska quarterback, Syracuse quarterback, because they ran that option style quarterback. And I looked at it and I go, what do option quarterbacks at the next level become? They become either a DB or a wide receiver. There was no option quarterbacks playing in the NFL at that point. I mean, Lamar Jackson is probably the closest thing to it, just because you don't run the option in the NFL. It's just guys are too fast. And so I was like, Notre Dame's off the table. And I remember my dad goes, whoa. Because he grew up, so growing up in South Dakota, they didn't have a pro team or
that was his team.
So he remembers watching Notre Dame College in Minnesota for the pros. So he's like, son, now just, Stu, you could be the starting quarterback at Notre Dame, and I'm like, oh, man, I don't really give a fuck about that. You know what I mean? Like that prestige or,
What about quarterback? I didn't ask you that. Did you plan to be quarterback in college?
Well, no,
I never saw that. Yeah.
No, like I said, Notre Dame, Nebraska, Indiana, Syracuse, and Notre Dame, Nebraska, Indiana, Syracuse, and Notre Dame. Those 5 schools recruited me as quarterback.
Oh, okay.
So they were quarterbacks. Some schools were receivers. Some schools were safety. And I looked at it and I was like, because I remember after the Detroit News had the dream team, like the top 12 players in the state in football, and it's a big event. We went down, and head coaches get one home visit, And the only time we were available for Bob Davies to come was that evening. So
Where's Bob Davies from?
He's at Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Okay, sorry.
Head coach of Notre Dame. But he was traveling around, and he flew the Notre Dame jet to Detroit, got a suite next to the event center that we were at, just to meet with me and my father after this event. Well, Forrester's with us, right? It's me, Forrester, and my dad, because I invited the coach.
Of course.
Well, we tell, we kind of, hey, after this, we're going to go and we'll meet Bob Davies. It really wasn't an invite, but he just kind of threw us into his van and, drove there. And, there was alcohol, and I love Forrester, and this is a great story. And he's feeling pretty good. You know what I'm saying? He's all buzzed up, right?
Uh-huh.
We go up to Bob Davies' suite, and, we come in, and Forrester just owned the entire conversation, trying to tell Bob Davies how to run the option and, all this and that. And we're just going, oh man. And finally, after like an hour, we were having to go, because he's like, hey, I gotta actually, he wasn't even staying the night. He had to fly back somewhere.
Yeah.
And I remember that night when my dad got home, there was a message on his answer machine, and it was Bob Davies. He said, hey guys, love seeing you, but he goes, I just want to let you know, if you're going to do these future visits, do not bring your coach with you. And we're like, listen, it wasn't like we meant for that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, but Bob Davies was great, but I remember Notre Dame, no. And then Purdue. So Nick Saban, right? So Nick Saban, we go to Nick Saban's football camp, but I actually have a picture I'll send you. This is Nick Saban's football camp. It was a one-day camp before my senior year at Michigan State, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Rogers is there, Baraka's there. It's again, all
Duckett.
the top.
Is Duckett in our grade? TJ Duckett?
He was already coming in. He was a year above us.
He's above, okay.
Eric Knott, Dowdell, all these guys from New Jersey, all these, the guys that they want to bring in,
Mm-hmm.
We get there about 8:00, and Nick Saban, we all go in, we take a picture in the stadium, and then at 9:00, he pulls up in a golf cart and says, Big Stu, let's go. And from 9 until that evening at 8:00, he drove my dad and gave him a personal tour of Michigan State. They went back to his house, had some beers, hung out. He spent the entire day with my dad during the Nick Saban camp. And afterwards, my dad said, this guy really wants you, Stu. This guy, and we're like,
awesome.
Oh, and at that time he was just, getting kind of that, that notoriety or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And when I went on my visit, a lot of the guys were, oh, Nick, he doesn't let us do this and he doesn't let us do this. And we're like, okay, he runs a tight ship. I want to be in an environment like that. You know what I'm saying? Well, then my senior year, we had just talked to Nick Saban like the week before. And I remember Pete Ryan calls me into the office, and it's a press conference of when he signed the first $1 million coaching contract at LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we went down to the game the next week, and then Bob Davies took over, and Bobby Williams.
Bobby Williams, yeah.
Bobby Williams is actually a Purdue graduate. He played linebacker here at Purdue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Full circle.
So Bobby Williams. So it might have been me and Joe Wilson, or me and Andy Wilson. I think it was me and Andy Wilson. Sorry, me and Joe Wilson go to the game, right? And, before you meet, you have a little dinner or the little buffet, and the coaches kind of meet you. After having Nick Saban, like I was his guy, Bob Davies comes around, didn't say fucking anything, but he's talking to all the other guys from New Jersey and all the black players, right? And I'm going, and all of a sudden the guys are like, oh, this is going to be great. He's letting us wear earrings. He's letting us do this. And I'm going, nah. I said,
you wanted that tight ship.
I said, let's go. I said, we didn't even go to the game.
When is that? Because it's close to signing day then, probably.
No, this was.
Still a while ago.
It was the football year of my senior year. That following, so that was 99 football.
So it wasn't close to February yet. It's probably like that November or something.
Away. I mean, it was in the heat of some shit.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It seems like you made a you made a decision in crunch time.
Michigan State. Watts was the offensive coordinator. Mark D'Antonio was the defensive back coach. You think about this. Mark D'Antonio was the defensive back coach. Nick Saban is the head coach. Like, come on, dude. Like, and then Freddie Mitchell was my recruiting host, who I loved. It was